Bakit mas madali if you get the 8% flat income tax rate for new professionals at sole proprietors? The most recent option na pwedeng makatulong for new professionals or business who are still getting the hang of monitoring yung pagpasok at labas ng pera is the 8% flat income tax rate. The reason is that this rate gives straightforward predictability of tax due at di mo na kailangan isama sa pag-justify ang expenses, lalo na kung wala kang resibo to document those expenses. For those earning solely from racket or business na below 3 million pa ang sales, your tax due is 8% of your sales after the 250,000 tax exemption. Sa mga empleyado naman na may racket o negosyo on the side, yung 250,000 tax exemption is applied sa employment compensation mo. So your sales from your profession or business is multiplied by the 8% for the tax due rate. Tandaan, lamang ang mautaks.
We are Degas, and we are a school for digital entertainment and gaming arts. We offer an off-school, long-term, structured learning program that promotes continuous and progressive skill development with drawing as a medium. Beyond the structured learning program, we want to develop and nurture the natural inquisitiveness, creativity, and capacity to collaborate in all our students through consistent and constant exploration of new ideas and methods. This is our mission, to nurture the crucial life skills that will determine success. We talked to people young and old, and they told the same story. As children, our interests lay in playing games with stories that unfold as we go along, with friends and with dolls and action figures. We made things with building bricks. We loved drawing. But over time, these disappeared from our lives because they were not encouraged, guided, or nurtured. After we graduate, we realized that these interests and activities are the expressions of creativity, initiative, curiosity, fearlessness, collaboration, and imagination. These are all key elements to success, ones that companies look for in their employees. These are the elements that we have incorporated in the structured learning program of Degas. By guiding students in art, we mean to enable everyone to start exploring, to ask questions about pursuits and disciplines like visual arts, graphic design, animation, and storytelling. We do this by providing the structured program. Gabais, the mentors in the art journey of a student, will provide the technical art skills and the game activities that students will tackle as teens. What they learn from the gabay, they will have to apply in the games that will have them solving challenges. The workbooks in turn will allow students to practice these skills at home on their own pace and time. Art is our medium, but beyond art, we use the elements of success to steer the development of our students into what matters the most, becoming happy, well-adjusted, and holistic people. That is who Degas, the Digital Entertainment and Gaming Art School is. A fun way to nurture crucial life skills through a structured learning of art.
Registered na negosyo mo, pero ang dami pa din gagawin. Tara, simplihan lang natin ang pagproseso sa tax filing mo. Kasing dalihin lang ito ng pag-ayos ng cabinet mo. Ito si Taxumo, ang digital tax assistant mo. Una, mag-sign up at ilagay ang mga detalye ng iyong negosyo galing sa certificate of registration mo. Kasing dali lang yun ang pagsuot ng t-shirt, iset up ang account settings para madali na lang ang tax filing as a freelancer. Panatiling nakabukas ang notifications para updated ka. Sunod, encode ang iyong kita at gastos. Di ka na magugulat sa tax na kailangan mong bayaran dahil real-time na ang tax calculation ni Taxumo. Isang click na lang pag nag-file ng taxes, madaming payment options na pwede pagpilian para mabayaran ng iyong taxes. Tapos na! Spend time growing your business, not filing taxes. Taxumo is here for the successful you. Tandaan, lamang ang mautaks.
Bakit mas madali if you get the 8% flat income tax rate for new professionals at sole proprietors? The most recent option na pwedeng makatulong for new professionals or business who are still getting the hang of monitoring yung pagpasok at labas ng pera is the 8% flat income tax rate. The reason is that this rate gives straightforward predictability of tax due at di mo na kailangan isama sa pag-justify ang expenses, lalo na kung wala kang resibo to document those expenses. For those earning solely from racket or business na below 3 million pa ang sales, your tax due is 8% of your sales after the 250,000 tax exemption. Sa mga empleyado naman na may racket o negosyo on the side, yung 250,000 tax exemption is applied sa employment compensation mo. So your sales from your profession or business is multiplied by the 8% for the tax due rate. Tandaan, lang mga mautaks.
Registered na negosyo mo, pero ang dami pa din gagawin. Tara, simplihan lang natin ang pagproseso sa tax filing mo. Kasing dalhin lang ito ng pag-ayos ng cabinet mo. Ito si Taxumo, ang digital tax assistant mo. Una, mag-sign up at ilagay ang mga detalye ng iyong negosyo galing sa certificate of registration mo. Kasing dali lang yun ang pagsuot ng t-shirt, iset up ang account settings para madali na lang ang tax filing as a freelancer. Panatiling nakabukas ang notifications para updated ka. Sunod, encode ang iyong kita at gastos. Di ka na magugulat sa tax na kailangan mong bayaran dahil real-time na ang tax calculation ni Taxumo. Isang click na lang, pag nag-file ng taxes, madaming payment options na pwede pagpilian para mabayaran ang iyong taxes. Tapos na! Spend time growing your business, not filing taxes. Taxumo is here for the successful you. Tandaan, lamang ang mautaks.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. To everyone who is watching at home right now, welcome to the maiden episode of Artphorce, sharing helpful tips for Filipino creative freelancers. And I am your host for tonight, Ronan Espinueva. And of course, I am joined by none other than the CMO of Artphorce, Mr. Cap Hernandez. Good evening, Cap.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Ronan.
So, exciting night tonight. We'll be talking about, we will be talking about very high level concepts tonight that will really help people, everyone doing freelance. Not necessarily just art, mind you, everyone na nag-freelance doing freelance services that will help you grow your business. And we are going to discuss something very important and very interesting tonight. And tonight we will be talking with Miss Ginger Arboleda, the COO of Taxumo. And tonight we will be talking about tax for freelancers. So
Yan.
here we have Miss Ginger Arboleda. Good evening, Ginger.
Good
Hi,
evening.
Good evening, Cap. Good evening, Ronan. And good evening to everyone who's watching this. Hello.
Hello.
So, let's get started. Wag na tayo magpaligoy-ligoy pa. Everyone who's probably going to be watching is probably somebody who has a business somewhere. Where we're talking about business people now, and very, I know na very important ang oras. So, not only for viewers, of course, but also of our guests. But before we begin anything, Ginger, can you tell us a little bit about Taxumo?
Yeah, sure. So for those who are new in hearing what the brand is, no? So we started Taxumo way back in 2016. So it was me with 3 other co-founders. So as mentioned, I'm the COO of Taxumo. So I handle the product team, operations team as well. So what we had in mind really when we started Taxumo was to sort of address a personal need that I had before. So what happened was I had to pay like penalties to the BIR kasi my accountant forgot to file taxes.
Oh
So
dear.
so we took it upon ourselves, me and my husband EJ, who is also our CEO, to sort of like see like how we can improve the tax process here in the Philippines. So way back in 2016, most of the processes were really very manual still. And we worked with BIR to come up with a solution for this. So we built Taxumo presented it also to the BIR, and okay sila with that. In 2018, we were accredited by BIR as one of the tax software providers in the Philippines. And now we have 80,000 users in the system. Mostly talaga, no,
Wow.
most of them are self-employed individuals and professionals. So I would say like 90% of them are self-employed and sole proprietors. And I think the reason why is that sad to say there are not a lot of options really nung time na yon and until now no, like on how we can improve our processes as individuals. Kasi if you're like a corporation, you can hire staff, no, you can hire an accountant. Pero with the erratic inflows, the cash inflows that we have as freelancers, hindi mo rin matansya if you have enough to pay the fees or to build a team, 'di ba? So we
Yeah.
came up with this way na SaaS talaga siya. It's a software basically. It's very affordably priced, no? So a 2-year plan for like freelancers can go as low as 399 pesos per month. So it's very affordable for people also. So yun. So wala na rin parang yun. So walang manual effort involved, no? So it was also built so that a person with no accounting background can easily file their taxes. Yun.
Mm.
Later on, we'll discuss more about it. But the vision really of Taxumo is really to help the micro and self-employed individuals with the tax filing process, and later on, even with the other financial problems or financial challenges that they would have for their business.
I see. So the way that I heard what I heard there is basically Taxumo is a valuable na solution to a very big problem that anyone who's trying to get started on freelancing will always have, ano? Kasi
Mm-mm.
one of the biggest things na I've always encountered with freelancing, and I myself, since I'm also doing I have my own business, ano, and
Mm-mm.
one of the biggest questions that I have ever always heard is, bakit ako magre-register with BIR,
Nako,
right?
totoo yan, Rona. No? We hear that a lot as well, yeah.
Yeah. So bakit nga ba ako dapat mag-register sa BIR? Why should I bother, like sasabihin ko, "Well, I only have like sabihin natin profile ko nakakakuha lang naman ako ng like 20k, sabihin natin 20k ang pumapasok sa akin per month. Bakit ako mag-register sa BIR when I am happy na ganito na yung pasok
Yeah.
ng income?"
Yeah, very valid question, no? And normally, syempre, we start with it's a responsibility, no? But syempre, as a person, like, what's in it for me, diba? I know it's a responsibility. I know, like, earning income comes with tax filing. Pero, ano naman ngayon, like, paano yun makakatulong sa akin personally? So, one is when you start a business, and a lot of us really, or a profession in this case, no? Because you're freelancers. When you start, basically earning from a craft, a passion that you have, you don't think of the admin part of it really. Pero you have that big dream to make it big, di ba? Sino ba naman
Yep.
mag-get into something na para, hindi hanggang dito lang, hanggang 10,000 pesos lang yung gusto ko, di ba? Pero you always get into something wishing that this was your primary source of income, di ba? We get into that. So if you want to make it big later on, eventually you'll have to look for bigger clients, 'di ba? People who will pay you what you're worth, 'di ba? Hindi lang siya like, okay, 200 pesos versus,
Yeah.
let's say, 20,000 pesos, 'di ba? So you want that. But these people who will pay you 20,000 pesos will have to declare it sa box nila. That payment that they give you that will be declared sa box, so it will be a legitimate transaction. And the proof that it's a legitimate transaction is basically you giving them an OR or a sales invoice, diba, at the end of the day. So that's the first one. Na parang if you want to grow your profession, if you want to grow your business, you have to be a legit business in their
Yeah.
eyes. And syempre, that also gains the trust of these clients, diba? Na, okay, you're registered, you're fully registered, and you're issuing all of these documentation. Next is talking about dreams again. After you grow your business, you want to buy, let's say, a car or a home later on.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you buy a car and a home, or anything that requires a large sum of money, most of these things will be paid via credit. So you'll loan, 'di ba? Hindi naman, well, I don't know kung may nagdadala ng mga maleta ng cash ngayon at nagbibigay para for cars, or even, may 14 million, ganyan sa luggage na to, di ba? So, but normally, the transaction is really done via mortgage, no, or loans, no. Kung takot ka man sa loans, it passes still a legitimate institution, a bank, probably, the funds flow will always pass through that. So for the bank to say that this is a legitimate sum of money, hindi siya galing sa fraudulent transactions or money laundering, you have to present documentation again. And one of which is, again, tax filing, di ba? You have to file your taxes. So ganun siya eh. So kanina OR, di ba? And even registration. Ito naman, you have to show your proof na nagbayad ka ng taxes you filed, which is like ITR forms, income tax return forms, whether it be quarterly, annual, no. So all of these things, AFS even, a financial history that they can look at and see if you're really legit. Also visa. So if you don't want to buy materialistic things, but you want to experience, you want to fly and travel, that's also something that you need to present. You need to present an annual income tax return or income tax return. So those are three things, and probably later on, if like during the pandemic, diba, may ayuda ang government for legit businesses. So for you to avail of these ayudas, hopefully hindi na mangyari ulit yung pandemic, no? But in the eventuality that you'll need something like this, you're in the list. You're in the list of the government na you're a legit entity, no, or a legit taxpayer. So those are some of the things that come into mind when we're asked that question, no, na bakit ako magbabayad ng tax.
Okay, so ano siya? So it's not like mag-comply ka lang just because, right? It's not like it's not a pahirap na binibigay lang ng government na nakaalala lang ng ano. Kasi there's a lot of there will always be somebody who actually is out there thinking na bakit pa ako magre-register kung mahirap din lang. I'm scared, I don't want to I'm only getting this much income right now tapos mababawasan pa. Yun yung mga fears nila eh. Although honestly, guys, I used to be one of them when I did not understand a thing about taxation. I always thought na when the moment that I got my BIR registration, tapos dumating na yung mga libreta, the first thing na pumasok sa isip ko is, oh no, lahat ng pumapasok na pera sa akin, meron ng porsyento, mapoporsentohan na. Pero as I became a bit more savvy, I guess, or I encountered more in the environment ng pagbabayad ng buwis, I came to realize that I actually am not on the hook for like an X amount of pesos for an X amount of income. So the question is what are the different types of taxes ba that freelancers need to be aware of in the Philippines? Ano ba yung bakit ba siya important?
Yeah.
What are the taxes?
Maganda yung sinabi mo na parang, alam mo yun, Ronan, like when you pay taxes or when you start a business, alam mo, dapat yung mindset is, it's something kasama na eh when you start a business. Dapat, parang when you earn income, obviously, parang obvious na siya that you have to file taxes. No? Hindi siya expense. It's not like, gagastusin ko ba to? Like when, let's say, for example, Meta ads or Google ads, no, it's a choice. Pero ito kasi, once you earn, obviously you need to file taxes. Kasama na dapat yan. So okay, so in terms of the types of taxes, I would say, okay, before I get into this, I would say very forgiving naman yung tax rules natin because it's commensurate to what you get also. Parang normally it's a percentage of the gross sales or yung revenue na kinikita mo, no? So hindi naman siya like BIR gets a certain number out of the blue tapos yan yung gusto kong tax mo. Hindi ganun eh. It's always based on like ano yung kinikita mo. Okay? So Having said that, there are three types of taxes that you need to know more about. No, maybe this time it's not enough to explain all of these things. Maybe you can later on research. No, but let's start with income tax. So income tax is the most popular tax in the Philippines. Why? Because alam natin, pag April 15, which is today, all of us are thinking of taxes, di ba? So parang
Ah,
um, akala natin tuloy, once a year lang tong income tax na to. But actually, here in the Philippines, income taxes are paid on a quarterly basis. Okay, so when you pay income tax, there are different tax rates that you can choose from. Normally, for freelancers who are earning less than 3 million gross revenue or gross sales in a year, you can opt for the 8% flat tax rate. This is available for individuals now. This was introduced lang nung train law. So, you can choose that. So, basically, 8% ng kinikita mo, binabayad mo for income tax. Now, meron din tinatawag na graduated income tax rate. Why is it called graduated income tax? Because it's a table. So it starts with 250,000, no? You earn this much, you're tax exempt, meaning you will file but you are still you're not paying anything, no? Wala kang tax dues. And then it gradually increases as your revenue increases, and then nag-increase then yung percentage. So
And
that's why
and
it's
this is
graduated
annual.
income tax. Yes,
This is based on annual. Okay, so hindi siya yung like magbabayad ako ng 8% kada may pasok ng pera sa akin. Uy, kumita ako ng 150 dun sa logo ko. Kunwari,
no,
hindi.
no.
Okay.
So parang nag-add up siya. That's why kahit na quarterly siya, you'll take into consideration January to March, January to June, ganun siya, nag-add up siya. So, ito yung schedule, no? So, you'll notice na parang January to March, so you call that, let's say, the taxable period, no? So, January to March, the deadline is in May 15th. Lagi siyang 15th of the month after the end of the 2 months after the end of the period. So, kunwari,
okay.
January to June naman, August ang deadline. January to September, January to, tama na, September, November naman yung deadline. And then January to December, April, yung annual income tax deadline. So quarterly, meron tayong quarterly income tax. We also have annual income tax. So those are the due dates. No? There.
Okay. So just because I'm filing doesn't necessarily mean na may nakakaltas na sa akin, tama? But I do have to file.
Yes, because, for example, let's go to graduated income tax rate. So, income tax is may tinatawag na taxable income. No? So, based on yung taxable income na yun, that taxable income is your gross sales less expenses pag non-VAT ka. And pag VAT ka naman, you consider output versus input tax. So, ganon. So, yung difference non. So yon. So that's based on basically the income, kaya siya income tax. Now, in terms of business taxes naman, the basis normally for this is the gross sales. So for percentage tax, you pay 3% of the gross sales or the gross revenue. Ito yung sinasabi natin na pagka revenue, may revenue pumapasok, meron ka talagang mababayaran or meron ka talagang babayaran. No? So percentage tax yun. And then VAT naman, based on, again, output and the input tax. Ganun siya.
Okay. So one of the most confusing things kasi para sa akin dito is the withholding tax this is something that I know that a lot of freelancers may not have necessarily seen before unless meron kayong katrabaho na
Local.
corporation din.
Yeah,
Entity din. So can you tell us a little bit more about what withholding tax is?
Okay, so the BIR created this sort of ecosystem, no, parang, or this sort of like process for determining like both the payers and the payees, no, so both the clients and the suppliers, ika nga, no. So what they do is they sort of look for these entities or in your COR, di ba, normally meron dyan expanded withholding tax. So yung expanded withholding tax na yan, when you have to pay it, you're called withholding tax agent. So yung withholding tax agent na yon, whether you're a corp or an individual, basta you have that in your COR, it means that you withhold a certain amount from your payment to your supplier. So yun yung withholding tax, no? So now, for example, I cap a certain amount, no, for his freelancing services. I withhold either 5 or 10% because he's an individual. And then I give him a 2307 form, which is a proof that I've already sort of paid it to BIR, pero hindi pa yun yung kompletong tax. I think yun yung misconception ng maraming tao, no? Maraming freelancers na, teka, winidholdan na ako, ibig sabihin nagbayad na ako ng tax. It's only a part or a portion of the taxes that you need to pay. So at the end of the day, you use that now as tax credits, yung winidhold. Let's say, for example, nag-withhold ako ng 1,000 kasi 10,000, let's say, yung transaction natin, 1,000. You use that 1,000 sa income tax mo. Let's say, na-compute mo yung income tax due mo and yung dues mo, let's say, amount to 5,000, less 1,000 because you have that 2307 form that I already withheld. So parang think of it as sort of like a GC na parang gift section na if meron kang ganon and you keep it and you file it together with your income tax, nababawasan yung tax dues mo.
So is it fair to say na dito nanggagaling yung there's this one field that's always confused me when it came to filing taxes. Bakit ako merong bakit ako mga credited na amount na laging sinasabi na it always ends up actually na yung taxes na binabayaran ko. Actually, parang naka-negative pa nga ako kasi parang may nabayaran na ako on top of what I have to pay. But the income that I have to pay tax on is not as big as the amount that I have to naka-withhold sa akin. So yun, doon ba nanggagaling doon sa withholding tax? Yun yung parang tax credit?
Yes, it may be the case, no. Most often, well, oftentimes yun yung basis. Other times negative na talaga because mas marami kang expenses. Let's say kaysa sa income mo or kaysa sa revenue mo, and you chose yung deduction method for graduated income tax rate na itemize. Okay, for graduated income tax table kasi itong graduated income tax rate, there is also such a thing as a deduction method. So you choose either itemize, meaning you're telling BIR, all of my expenses you have to take into consideration as an expense. No? And then, meron din tinatawag na OSD or optional standard deduction, meaning to say, you're telling BIR na 40% of my revenue are expenses, pero I won't itemize it anymore. So yun siya. So sometimes, marami ka talaga because naka-itemize ka, tapos ang dami mong expenses, let's say, like umaabot ng 80 or 85% or even 90%. And then meron ka pang tax credits. So talagang magne-negative siya.
So for everyone who is watching right now, kung takot kayo na, pag nasa BIR na ako, eto na ako, makakaltasan na yung pera ko. It's not like people are going to start knocking on your door na hahanapin kayo, may utang kang ganito ha. With the calculations and with the system that's been set up, you actually can have negative taxes na babayaran. So, wag kayong matakot na, again, wag kayong matakot mag-register sa BIR, especially since if you have people who can help you out with your taxation, like again, like Ginger and company here.
Yeah.
Ang daming kasi ako personally nagtataka ako bakit naka-negative yung babayaran ko. So this doesn't mean naman na on the other end naman, this also doesn't mean that the government is going to start sending me checks for those naman, di ba?
No. Hindi ganun yung rules natin in the Philippines, no? Walang RRs for that. But if negative siya, you carry over it normally. Doon sa you
sa
carry
next na.
Correct, sa next.
Kasi lumalaki yung yung credit mo, right? So even if you get up to a point where it's tama ba?
Yes, there are cases that are like that. And you can also actually apply for it to be credited back sa'yo, no? But It just takes a while. Matagal lang siya. But pwede din naman that you also apply for that na ibalik niyo sa akin yung pera. Especially, let's say, magko-close ka na ng business mo. Parang hindi mo na siya itutuloy. Tapos, malaki yung credits kasi let's say, knock on wood, nalugi ka, no? Or parang, mas marami pang expenses. Kaya nga gano'n, mas marami kang expenses. So, pwede naman nila ibalik sa'yo. Meron lang process talaga on how to get that, no? And how to credit it back to you. Sometimes, may mga cases na, let's say, mali yung tax filing and overpayment ka, so pwede ka rin mag-request for it to be credited to you. Yung mga ganong cases. But normally, for instances like that, they will really check yung account mo if tama. So, malamang may audit yan. No? They'll go through the usual audit ng account mo. They'll look if tama yung mga taxes that you've been filing. No? So, that whole process. So, sometimes, mas gusto pa rin ng tao na parang i-credit na lang sa next filing. Kasi mas madali yung proseso pag ganun.
Ginger, may magandang question dito from the comments. That's just, ito, ano pong klase ng tax ang babayaran or ipa-file for freelancers whose employers are outside the country? Tanong ni Ronald Galliano.
Oo. So, Ronald, dito sa batas natin in the Philippines, no, whatever is credited kasi in Philippine soil, so whatever you receive na income or revenue sa Philippine soil, you have to declare. So, regardless of saan galing yung pera, so in this case, galing sa labas ng bansa, di ba? So, kailangan mo siyang i-declare. So, in terms of the types of taxes, the things that I mentioned a while ago, no, normally for simple freelancers na wala naman, when I say basic, like simple freelancers, no, yung process nila is wala masyadong gastos kasi freelancing nga, diba? Wala masyadong expenses. Normally, what they do is they just pay income tax, opt for that 8%, kasi if you have at 8%, you need not file itong business taxes na to. So if you opt for marami nga intricacies to yung table na to. So medyo connected siya to each other. So if you pay 8%, or sorry, if you opt to pay 8% flat IT rate, wala ka ng percentage tax in that sense. No, especially kung freelancer ka. And then, expanded withholding, wala rin yan kasi wala kang local client. So in essence, you only pay the income tax. In your case, Ronald, like this, considering yung sample lang na sinabi mo, no, yung statement na yan. Let's say online sellers naman. Online sellers are required to be DTI registered. So yung online sellers are sole prop naman, hindi sila professionals. So they need to basically register as a sole prop, and then depende rin sa graduated or IT or 8% flat rate, no? Pero normally kasi, in essence, like from experience, maraming supplies na binabayaran. So it might, again, puro may disclosure to, it might be beneficial for them to go itemized graduated because ang daming supplies. Yung ganon. So it really is based on like what's happening sa business mo. Yeah. So, but to answer yung kay Ronald, it's really 8%, yun lang. Diba? Kasi wala ka namang expanded, walang mag-withhold. Yeah.
I remember that online seller tax, ang daming galit na galit nung lumabas yan. They were so, pati ba naman online selling, itatax sila. Nobody actually saw it for the opportunity that it represented. Because it came up during the time ng pandemic. So if you're online, you could technically actually say na you could actually register your freelance business as an online services provider rather than and it would actually have made the registration easier for people because a lot of people right now are, I think, under the impression sila that if everything has been listed or declared as professional services, okay na, no? But what's the pitfall of okay, kunyari ako freelancer, ako graphic designer, i-declare mo na lang as as professional services lahat ng sinasabi ko. What's the biggest pitfall of having that? Kasi ako nakikita ko since hindi rin ako makapagbigay ng OR
Yeah.
So small time.
Well, in terms of kasi lahat ng dadaan depends where saan distribution channel mo idadaan yung binebenta mo. So,
Mm.
'di ba? Like if it's through the likes of our more popular platforms, they are mandated to withhold the 1%.
Mm.
So, kailangan siya. So, they will give you that. And sa side mo, isipin mo, nire-report nila sa BIR. Sa side mo, it has to match with whatever they
Yes.
report. So, yun lang yung parang what you need to think of also. So, it really depends saan ka magbebenta. No? So, yon. So, in terms of yung bakit sila na why the discussion on these things, no? The reason why is when they started selling sa mga platforms like this, and also important na to sa freelancers, no? A big part of deciding on the price points that you have for your services and also the price of your goods, taxes will matter. So you have to understand like how the
Yes.
dynamics work because let's say VAT. Kunwari na lang, simple example. You have may 12% VAT that you need to pay. So did you consider that in pricing your services if eventually you'll earn more than 3 million revenue per year, diba? So yung mga ganon. So mapapansin mo, syempre price war yan eh, 'di ba sa mga platforms eh. So syempre yung mga people who priced it correctly, may advantage na sila because hindi man advantage but it makes the game a level playing field for everybody na. It makes the platform a level playing field for everybody because kailangan na itaas to the correct pricing, 'di ba? Yung iba
Yes.
na nagbebenta ng half the price or even 25% of what the person who pays taxes pays.
Yes.
Or charges, 'di ba? So ganun. So parang yun. So you have to consider that also when you're a freelancer. You have to consider yung mga taxes that you need to pay because kasama naman siya eh. Kasama talaga siya.
So that really does answer, no. So that really does answer one of the biggest questions that tinatanong mga GA and mga GD. Kasi a lot of them will actually complain about how can I keep up with someone who is offering their services for 1/10 of what I offer. Kasi yun yung the answer is, guys, kung gusto mo lumaki,
Yeah.
always register your business with the BIR
Mm.
and government. Like I keep saying, kasangga mo ang gobyerno sa mga ganitong bagay. Kung gusto mo patas na laban, gobyerno actually tutulong sa'yo, provided that you know how to use yung services ng gobyerno. So,
Yeah.
on that topic, what documents does a freelancer need? Typically lang, rather for filing taxes.
Yeah, normally naman, what you'll need are your COR or Certificate of Registration. And then, kung may mga local clients ka, dapat, you have your withholding taxes and then your ORs, diba? Your OR booklets. What else? Yung books of accounts mo, your manual, the manual na stamp ng BIR, diba? You have to have that also with you. Maganda, I was looking at this question by Roland again. What type of incurred tax? Kasi related siya sa pinag-uusapan natin, Ronan. So what type of incurred tax will be given to freelancers working with foreign clients that has no direct access to the transaction by the government? Kasi di ba we were mentioning kanina na pag local kasi yung platform, or hindi man local, actually hindi nga local, Lazada, diba? Lazada, Shopee, all of these platforms, no? Eventually na lang, Roland, isipin mo if they're doing that already to merchants, online sellers, what stops the government from also withholding from the likes of Upwork later on? Kasi nandun din, it's the same type of sort of like ecosystem that will, or processes later on that will be looked at, no? So, ngayon, to be honest with you, wala. Hindi nila masisilip, diba? Hindi naman nila masisilip. But, once na they go towards that, they move towards other platforms as well, wala eh. That will be the case already na baka mag-impose na rin ng 1% withholding, ima-match na rin yung nakukuha yung revenue versus like what you earned or yung data sa platform, what they withheld, diba? So, ganon. But today, as of this current minute or moment, wala pa talaga. Like, hindi nila masisira.
Wala pang...
Yeah.
Ito may follow-up question siya. What if direct kang kinausap ng Fortune 500 to do work for them? Parang usapan nyo na lang.
Okay. Which, actually, this is a good question kasi there's something else that I want to bring up. Okay, maybe hindi nga walang direct access to these platforms or even to this Fortune 500 company, no? But the money that comes in, let's say to your bank account, you are subject to AMLA, no? AMLA ruling, meaning anti-money laundering act, no? So where you need, as an individual, you need to declare your source of funds, who you are basically as a person. That's why we have that EKYC, no? Know your customer, no? Yung KYC, know your customer, EKYC, electronic know your customer. So that's why tinatanong ka ng banko, do you have documents that will support itong source of funds that you are saying, no? If wala, Roland, if you say na, basta freelancer ako, wala kang kontrata or whatever, no? So contracts kasi is just one thing, pero what they want to see talaga is your ITR, your income tax return. Ganon. Yun yung titignan nila, and yun yung iti-take nila as a genuine document, no? As a genuine document, as true. So they can, I don't know if you've heard like some freelancers na hold yung account nila or hindi nila ma-withdraw yung pera, close yung bank account nila for without them getting the funds there, no? So pwede mangyari yon. If sabihin ng bank na ito, dubious tong account na to, i-flag natin to, hindi sila pwedeng gumalaw or mag-withdraw unless magpakita sila ng documentation, pwede nilang gawin yon because of that particular act. Yun.
So there actually is something, there are safeguards that actually will be put into place, or rather are put into place, that will be triggered whenever this happens. So what amount ba yung nag-trigger na yun? Kasi alam ko AML ang AMLA.
No, walang specific amount, because if we knew what amount, it's easy to navigate through the it's easy to circumvent the system. So we don't know. So it's really sa bank yan, like they really study yung ins and outs ng pera, how much it is, like gaano ka frequent, and all of these things. So may sarili yan sila. And I
so
don't
money
disclose.
Money doesn't just come out of thin air, and there will always be a paper trail. Yun yung that's the thing. So whether digital or or even cash, actually, kung cash, believe it or not, matitrace din nila kung saan nanggaling yung there's actual physical serial numbers. And when it comes to online transfers naman, yun nga, there will always be a paper trail that will flag a bank. So better to err on the side of caution. It's better for you to actually just declare everything, especially if you're working with foreign clients. But once again, registered ka rin with BIR, and with the help of our friends at Taxumo, this will actually be an easy to navigate situation na again, hindi naman 40% ng kinita mo na dolyares amin. Hindi naman ganun. Hindi naman ganun yung scenario, no? You'll still pay a very small kasi it's still going to be considered as kinita mong pera here on Philippine soil. So hindi naman like magic 80% niya namin. Hindi naman po yun gano'n. So thank you.
Normally to Ronan, to add to like what Roland said, na should someone be obligated to report to AMLA, it's basically like diba, normally the bank asks you to update your records and all of these things. That's how they sort of fix the records, your records. So if I were you, if you have like registrations and all, give them a copy. Like ako, I always make sure that they have like updated, kasi sole prop yung akin. So updated LGU records, registrations, COR hindi naman nagbabago, so it's still the same. What else pa? ITR, AFS, if you're required, ITR for like freelancers, kasi minsan naman hindi naman kailangan ng AFS before you reach a certain threshold. So ganon.
It's one of the dream. It's a dream thing na kailanganin mo na yon. Because there are some the more complicated. Basically, guys, the mga nanonood nito and who will be watching this, of this when it's already a recording. Anything na the more complicated, the bigger your business, the more complicated the rules get. But that's because your business is bigger now. So ano pa rin naman yun, commensurate naman yon. So hindi mo maiiwasang maging mas complex, but on the other hand, meron ka na rin kasing mas capable ka na rin magbayad. That's mas naiintindihan mo na. And of course, andyan naman ang friend natin sila Ginger and team. Paulit-ulit ko sasabihin yon because this is one of the big wow things that you can actually avail of. It's no longer hindi na lang, it's not just you trying to go to a BIR office, because I actually have tried that. They're friendly enough, they're informative enough, but there is a lot of information na mahirap i-absorb if you don't have a very specific background like in CPA. If you're not an SME, mahirap siyang intindihin. So why not ask for help from people who actually understand what's going on. So as I understand, you're not a CPA, Ginger.
Yes.
That's what makes it very valuable. Kasi whenever I talk to CPAs, 3 sentences in, nalulunod na ako kasi hindi ko intindihan.
I'm sure, Ronan, kahit na yung kanina, I'm sure, kahit na kunwari, binigyan natin ng basics kanina on ano yung mga taxes that you need to file, hindi mo pa rin ma-absorb eh. Sa totoo lang. Like for me, kunwari when I was just starting out, tapos hindi ko talaga naintindihan tong taxes, ganyan din ako eh. Like, hindi ko pa rin, kahit na anong ilang beses mo sabihin sa akin, income tax, meron tax rate, meron deduction method, hindi ko pa rin ma-piece sa brain ko. Diba? So, that's why Taxumo was designed na ang gagawin mo lang, literally, you'll just encode your revenue, anong kinikita mo, tapos may katumbas na OR, diba? And then, pagkatapos may encode yan, encode mo naman yung expenses mo. And then there are already categories there to choose from. Ano to, electricity ba to? Or let's say local services, you commissioned another person. And then doon na, literally, all of the categories. And then if you have your 2307s, encode them. Once you're done, the system will automatically compute for your tax dues, and with a click of a button, na file now, you can pay your taxes online. So you don't need to think of like, ano yung computation for this, or yung gano'n, like parang ano ulit yung tax table, saan ako magpo-fall, anong line. To be honest with you, even me, until now, even if I know all of the basics, sometimes I get confused pa rin with all of the changing rules and regulations. Diba? Ano daw? Saan yung withhold what? Parang bago na naman. Parang, diba? Tapos now, bago na naman yung
BIR thing.
Diba? So,
yeah.
It's so hard. I am empathizing with all of you watching this. No? So, yeah, I understand the pain. But now naman, everything it's good that BIR is also acknowledging itong mga digital services na to that you can avail, like Taxumo, no? Because it really helps them also. Like, parang sila din, they need help in explaining. They also need help in, like, how do I collect from these group of people na hindi ko maintindihan what they're doing, no? Maybe Taxumo understands them, so they can better service them. So, they're very open naman to that. Yeah.
So,
ito meron connected din na tanong doon sa pinag-uusapan natin. Medyo connected at natawa rin kasi ako sa tanong niya. Need po ba mag-file ng sworn declaration of gross remittances ang mga freelance designers? And ano po ba yun?
Ano po ba yun? Itong sworn declaration of gross remittances, meron kasing, okay, if in the context of business renewal, some LGUs kasi require sworn declaration of, actually, most of them require a sworn declaration of gross remittances for the past year. Because your renewal for your business registration license, or mayor's permit rather, is based on your gross remittances normally. No? Iba-iba yan kasi different ordinances for different LGUs. Pero meron din tinatawag na sworn declaration from BIR every year. No? So, meron silang template. You can look for it, no? Sworn declaration from loan payor. Meron ding several payors. No? So, kung marami kang loan naman, meaning to say, isa lang yung client mo, several pag marami kang kliyente. Ganon. So, download that. Template lang siya. Tapos mag-check ka lang doon ng mga information na, yes, I'm not earning beyond, I forget what's written there, but it's a form. And then, look lang kung I'm not earning beyond 3 million. May mga ganun eh. So, check mo lang kung ano applicable sa'yo. Panotaryo mo yon at the start of the year. This is required no for all self-employed then, parang individuals. Panotaryo nyo, you have it notarized. Non-VAT normally yung gumagawa nito kasi pag VAT hindi na kailangan mag-declare na you're not earning below, di ba? Obviously. So usually non-VAT, have it notarized, and then that's it. You can give it to your client. Some clients want you to have it stamped as a BIR, which normally hindi man ginagawa, no? It's as simple as notarized lang siya na document that says you're not earning because you have your COR anyway with you. No? So, yon. So, yon, two things. So, I'm not sure what you mean, but those are the two sort of sworn declarations that I can think of.
Okay.
Okay. So another question na eto na ngayon. Andito na tayo sa exciting na part dito. So, mga benefits. We've been talking about how being registered with the BIR isn't all pain and what do you call this? Confusing rules nang hindi mo maintindihan. But there are actual benefits na both intangible and tangible. So, one of I think we already touched a little bit dito.
Basically, those are the benefits, diba? Tax exemptions. Well, credits, pa rin yung withholding tax credits mo, which comes in the form of your 2307 no, form. Another thing that I could think of is, I don't know if you've heard of PERA, Personal Equity and Retirement Account. By the BSP, no, created by BSP in tandem with other agencies. Parang you can set aside money sa mga pera administrators, and then you can build a retirement account, and you can only withdraw that once you're 55, I think, 55 years old or above. But for the amount that you put there, meron kang tax credit certificate, 5%. So 5% of the amount that you put can be used as a tax credit. So meron ka ng investment, meron ka pang tax credit. So those are just some of the things. Yun pa lang naman, like for individuals, no, that I can think of. Yeah.
Kasi I remember when we posted this, ang tanong kasi dun sa caption is, ano bang benefits ng pagbabayad ng tax? May mga nag-comment kasi, ang comment nila is parang wala daw, papupunta lang daw sa government.
So because I think that's the easiest to think of when the mindset is it's an expense. Pero 'di ba sabi nga nila, the rich earns from basically understanding all of these intricacies of tax filing and how to leverage your financial history. So at the end of the day kasi, for example, if you have a very good financial history, hindi kasi big thing sa atin ang credit scoring, diba? Credit rating. I don't think like 90 or even 95% of our population know their credit scores, diba? Pero very important yon because that can actually lower the interest rate when you loan from a bank. And how the rich does it is really they leverage on lower interest rates and then use the assets that they buy, pero medyo next level na, to sort of use that as a collateral for other things that they want to buy. Parang gano'n, no? They build on the wealth. So, pero at the end of the day, it's really like better interest rates for people who have good credit. So a person, let's say, who has bad credit rating can loan smaller amounts at, let's say, 5% per month. Pero a person who has better credit score can loan at a rate of, let's say, 9% per annum. So which is better, di ba? Mas maganda pa rin yung 9% per year kaysa 5% per month. So yung mga ganon, no? So, and for you to build that credit score and yung financial history mo, normally, financial institutions look at 3 years of financial history. Kasi before they can lend you, or yun yung basis laging 3 years, no? So, hindi ka pwedeng, bukas gusto ko mag-loan, ngayon magbabayad ako ng tax. Walang magagawa yan. So, you have to start now. Yun yung sinasabi ko lagi sa mga tao. Hindi nyo naintindihan right now because it's sort of, when the time comes, it will work for you, diba? It will work for you when you need it. Pero you can't start now and say kailangan mo siya bukas. So that's why you have to start now para 3 years down the line, if you need a house, if you're gonna buy a house, if you're gonna buy a car, if you're gonna go on a trip, meron kang something to show, diba? Yun. So laging ganun like, hindi tayo dapat last minute. That's what I can share with like a lot of people dito na hindi pwedeng last minute na afterthought siya because all of these matter talaga.
So basically sa mga nanonood ngayon, yun nga, there's a kasabihan, there's a saying that dapat ang pera mo nanganganak. Sabi nila, paano gagawin ka? Most basic way that we understand is ibangko mo, tapos kikita yan ng ganito interest rate, ganon. Yeah, that's a way of doing it. It's a way. It's the most basic way. Like an 8-year-old can do it with their kiddie savings account. Pero ngayon, kumikita ka na and you're making your own money and you're the owner of a company because as a freelancer, you are a business owner.
Yes.
That the income na pumapasok sa'yo should not stop at being just income. It actually has to be something that you can leverage.
Yeah.
Ano yun sa pamamaraan na to, magbayad ka ng buwis, pay your taxes and be very sa tama yung filing and recording, and this will actually be the means by which, yun nga yung sinabi ni Ginger, maghihiram ka ng pera, let's say, yun nga, 9% per annum, tapos i-invest mo siya sa isang, let's say, venture, nakikita ng 15% per annum yung pera. Diba? So that already puts you, lumaki na yung na by 6% yung pera mo.
True.
Which doesn't seem big. Kung 10 piso lang yung hiniram mo, paano kung million?
Correct. Yeah, that's why talaga it's a game. All of this, mahilig ka sa games, Ronan. So, all of these things are games, diba? Like, for example, if you want to later on, online seller ka, bebenta ka, supplies, hihiram ka, dahil 9, 10, 11, 12. Ano yung ikaw na may financial history, hihiram ka ng pera para bumili ng supplies or stocks, inventory.
Yes.
Diba? Like hiniram mo at 9% per annum versus a person na humiram ng pera para bumili ng stocks at 5% per month. Ang laki ng difference nun. So, 5 times 12 yun, diba?
Yep.
Diba? Versus a person na let's say, credit card even. That's why you need to build credit history early on. It's not because, kailangan ko mag-file lang. Yeah, well, which is, yes, obviously a responsibility. Pero if you tweak your mindset a little bit, no? And go with, because I want to make this a successful business later on, kailangan mo intindihin yung game. Kailangan mo intindihin yung laro, diba? Yan.
It's free money, basically. It's free money.
Yes.
Yung tubo, free money yun. Wala. Hindi mo pinaghirapang itubo yun.
Yes. Correct. Yeah. Tama naman. Oo.
Sabi nga ni Ronan, ayan.
Yeah. Tama naman to like parang yung iba, especially if they're obviously very successful, they have the money to build foundations. Yes, because may certain tax exemptions also. Even when you donate to charities that are accredited by BIR, also tax credits, kanina sabi mo exemptions, no. If it's a sizable amount, yes, there is a way like parang to put it in as tax credits as well.
Yeah, kaya siya, di ba? Kaya nga there are certain companies that actually make it a point na nasa nare-report sa media yung nila, yung pagkakawang gawa nila. It's not just because guys, nagkawang gawa kami. It's actually a form of reporting and making it public record. Actually, yan. Yung very important. Yan. Very important. It's matter of public record, guys. Na ito'y ginawa talaga namin. So pagdating sa filing ng taxes, mag-aano talaga siya. Ma-reap namin yung benefit nitong pagtutulong. So as you can see, helping, a lot of people would be very, I guess, sasabihin nila, yan, nag-set up lang ng charity para lang makabawas sa buwis. Or pwede mong isipin na yung sa pagkakawang gawa mo, dahil meron ka ng capital na pwede mong itulong sa kapwa mo, tutulungan ka rin ng gobyerno.
Yeah, correct.
So,
diba? Ang daming, shift lang talaga on how you look at it.
Mindset, right? Pwede kang mamigay ng, kasi ganito yun guys, kung willing kang mamigay ng 5 piso sa pulube, for example. Sino dito ang mga malalambot ang puso sa ganun? Bibigay. Ito po, 20 pesos. Yung 20 pesos mo, nakatulong yon dun sa matanda. Kasi may 20 pesos na siya. Paano nakatulong sa iyo yon? Hindi naman natin sinasabi na bawal tulong mo, dapat may balik. Pero the point is, i-shift natin ng kaunti yung sitwasyon. Binigyan mo, imbis na 20 pesos lang yung binigay mo dun sa matanda. Uy, ang gagawin ko, magsaset up ako ng foundation para yung matanda na yon, imbis na mag-iipon ng 20-20 pangkain, pakakainin ko sila. Mas malaki yung naitulong mo, tama? However, tinitingnan din ng gobyerno yon, eto, may tumutulong sa kapwa niya, tulungan ko nga rin. Yun lang yun. Diba? Nilakihan mo lang yung binigay mo. So, pero ito, merong guilty ako dito sa some of these dahil nga newbie ako sa mga filing na ganito at hindi ko pa siya masyado naiintindihan. But what are some common mistakes? Ano yung mga missteps or mali ng mga freelancers when it comes to filing their taxes, and paano sila maiiwasan?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. One is stopping pag DTI registered na sila. So, di ba, some people say, DTI registered ako, hindi pa po kompleto ang process. Because when you're DTI registered, you have to register also with the LGU and also with the BIR. And you'll notice na lahat ng mga legit businesses end with BIR talaga. Because yun that's a purpose of registering really a business, no? Para bumalik din yung funds and you contribute to the economic growth of the nation, diba? So if you do not do that, you also incur penalties kasi along the way. So the longer you prolong it, alam ko kasi from let's say DTI registration, you have to right away register already with the LGU and the BIR. Kasi meron yung penalties if you don't do it like right away. Okay.
Yes.
I think another misconception is not filing when zero yung tax dues nila. So when they compute and say, wala naman pala akong babayaran, di na ako magpa-file, you already will incur penalties because you have to declare na zero yung tax dues mo. What else pa? I think, not understanding how taxation works. Kasi yung pricing mo, like what I've mentioned kanina, no, yung misconception na wala naman yung kinalaman sa daily operations ko or sa business ko right now. Because you treat it as an expense. Pero when the time comes that you need to file taxes, meron siyang kinalaman sa pricing mo, sa revenue na pumapasok, sa lahat ng things, no, sa pagbayad mo sa supplier, sa lahat eh. So yun, like understanding at least the basics, or at least the basics of taxation is very important to make big business decisions then later on. Kasama siya. And also what we've mentioned, like financial history. Like hindi ko naman kailangan, hindi ako magbabayad ng tax. Pero once na nandiyan at kailangan mo, nahihirapan ka ngayon because you'll have to do everything ng madalian, which might lead to mali-maling things, alam mo yun, penalties, dahil nagmamadali ka. Alam mo naman, di ba, pag nagmamadali ang tao, even when you're creating art, when you're creating a design, pag nagmamadali ka, nag-procrastinate ka, sometimes it doesn't work, di ba? It doesn't, sometimes, some people work kasi na mas okay silang na-procrastinate, no? So, but in taxes kasi baka may ma-miss ka na step of the way that will incur penalties, etc. Yan.
So there's a human cost is what we're saying when you delay things or when you don't do it correctly. Like for example, ang pinakasimple na intindi ko diyan is pag hindi kahit zero pa bayaran ko sa taxes pero hindi ko final.
Yes.
Sasabihin ko, di ba? Big deal. Zero naman eh. Bakit ngayon? Bakit ako may penalty for not saying na 0%? Kasi guys, meron pong ang tawag po kasi doon is empleyado ng BIR na kailangang magtanong sa'yo. Pag tinanong ka ng taong yun, ang oras niya, bayad. Hindi yun. Ay, libre yung pagtawag mo kay, kunwari yun. Ay, libre yung pagtawag mo kay Ronan ha. Kasi zero naman ang tax nun. Parang girl.
Yes.
Di ba? Ano yun eh? Pero di ba totoo yun eh? A lot of us don't understand the human cost. Like, bakit hindi ba kumakain yan? Parang ikaw din lang yan eh. Gumagawa ka ng obra mo, for example. Yung iba, hindi nga kinakalculate ito. Yung like, bakit ganito lang yung singil mo? Hindi ka ba kumakain habang nagtatrabaho? May human cost, guys. Kaya might as well kahit zero, file.
Yeah. Para lang I mean, you follow the rules. I mean, hindi naman ganun kahirap eh, especially when you use Taxumo. Yes, especially when you use Taxumo. Hindi, totoo. Like, just comply. Just comply.
There's actually a question here that ito makulit na question to, pero this is actually something na I think Taxumo may nagtanong nito kanina na do donations or gifts from an employer fall under taxable amount, and magkano of that is going to be taxable and how much is the rate. So but the thing is, okay, si Ronald sana all nakakatanggap ng gift sa employers. Naalala ko, noong empleyado pa ako, natatanggap ko sa employer ko PIP. Nadulas. Aayos ka. So I think this is Ronald. I think this is a very good time for you this is an opportunity for you actually to see Taxumo at work, because this is actually a very complex question na hindi siya masasagot right now.
Yeah, better kasi, like when you compute kasi for your taxes, maraming mga things that come into play, diba? So, better kung may mga specific answers kayo on computation. We have Taxumo Consult, and you're gonna talk to a CPA talaga. So, I'm not a CPA, no? So, pag meron kang gustong i-verify or itanong or yung mga ganyan, you can consult. Look for Taxumo Consult, so we can share the link naman in the comments later on. Taxumo Consult is just 1,500 for 45 minutes. So what we advise people na parang kung meron talaga sila mga specific scenarios, questions, no, write it all down. Tapos tanungin nyo na lahat dun sa consultation nyo. And mura siya for a professional, diba? 45 minutes. Wala kang makikitang ganun talaga. Yan.
So basically, for that much time with an actual SME, an actual CPA na pwede kong tanungin ng lahat, yun lang yung babayaran ko for the consultation.
Yeah.
Yes. Mura nga.
1.5. Talaga.
So,
and sometimes, nagpapatulang pa sila to set up their account sa Taxumo. Like, kunwari, you're not sure, may entry, like some transaction ka. Saan ko ba ito ipapasok? Anong klaseng expense to? They can even help you out sa ganon. Yeah.
Okay, that's actually very intriguing kasi for those who are also watching this, na kung isipin yung mahalang 1.5 for 45 minutes, guys, subukan niyong magtanong sa CPA ngayon. Yung 45, hindi 45 minutes, 45,000 yon na sigil nila.
Mahirap. It's quite pricey naman. But, of course, you get kasi value eh. That's their profession. They really studied for it, diba? So talagang parang, for me nga, accountants, they really should do, parang, they are business partners eh. Business partners mo sila eh. Dapat natatanong mo sila na, what should I do? Ganito yung nangyayari sa business ko. Diba dapat ganun? You'll have that conversation. Again, shift sa mindset. It's not uutukan mo sila just to file. Alam mo yon? It should be like, hey guys, you're sort of like my finance team kung wala akong finance team, diba? Like,
CFO.
help me naman. Diba? Guide me. Kahit na hindi nga levels ng lahat ng data, but dapat you can call them. You can ask them. Ito yung nangyayari. Like, what do I do kaya? Like, alam mo yun? So, we really built Taxumo Consult for that. If may mga questions ka na wala kang mapagtatanungan, na wala ka namang finance team, wala kang kilalang financial expert, no? So, talk to them talaga.
Yeah, kasi when it comes to ethics din kasi yung iba, makahanap na lang ako ng kilala kong accountant, tanungin ko na lang. Well, yeah, pwede. Pero, imaginin mo, parang yung tanong lang yan guys. Pag drawing ka nga, drawing mo ko, libre lang ha. Gagandahan mo drawing.
Diba? Even for creatives, diba? You want to be paid naman for your craft, diba?
Oo. But if there's a way for sabihin natin, may service na like parang si Artphorce. It's actually the same. Artphorce actually also operates very similarly. You have subject matter experts. You have the best of the best on the platform. But you're getting access to these minds, to these talents, pero hindi siya to the point na na magkakasamaan ng loob dahil sa undercutting ng presyohan. So if you're also a talent and you're also a freelancer, maybe you also want to look for clients na iniisip ko, kailangan ko ng pambayad kay Taxumo. Joke. You want to sign up with Artphorce, guys. So this is the best time for you to do so because it will actually expose you to an international market. Of course, pero ang pool is only Filipino. Yun lang. Malupit ang
That's the good thing Yun yung
good thing.
Kasi priority yung Filipinos when it comes to yung mga artists. Kasi sa ibang platform, minsan nakakalaban mo yung ibang 'di ba? Ibang mga country na mas mura yung singil. So for artforce.com, talaga, yung priority are Filipinos.
Yeah.
So I'll be sharing yung yung website or yung URL address ng Artphorce din. And I remember whenever naglilista ako ng mga expenses, ng mga income, parang minsan parang hindi ako organized. So is there a way na Taxumo can maybe help us?
Good question.
Yeah, meron naman, the free, kasi meron kaming tinatag na freemium model, no? Like, basically, it's a freemium model. You can use Taxumo freely by logging, parang just to log your revenue and expenses. So, free yon yung part na yon. So, if you need to, like, i-log, pwede mo gamitan as a tracking mechanism for your business, yung ins and outs ng funds mo. When you now want to file taxes, that's when you subscribe to a plan.
Okay.
So right now, if people want to try out Taxumo, you can actually try out. You sign up for free. It's free. Wala kang babayaran. And then, when you go to Tax Juice tab, so, di ba, lalagay ka ng mga income and revenue and expenses mo. When you go to Tax Juice tab, it even shows you magkano yung nako-foresee niyang tax juice mo. Yung na-compute yung tax juice mo based on what you inputted.
Okay.
So, pwedeng in the future, like, ready na ako magbayad ng tax kung ganito lang pala, di ba? Like, some people, kasi dun, kailangan lang nila ng step na ganon to actually realize na hindi naman mataas yung babayaran nila sa taxes. Pag ito pala yung kinikita ko, ito yung expenses ko. So, yon. So, if I were you, try it out. Sa mga nag-question kanina, nagbigay ng question, Roland, Ronald, Isa, even, Jimwell. So, for all of you, like, try it. Sign up, and then try to set up your account. Kung hindi ka pa registered, that's fine. Just put in sudo data muna sa settings mo. Key in your income, your revenue, and expenses, and see how much taxes you need to pay. Tapos later on, when you're ready na, you can subscribe and file. Now, this invoicing naman, we're coming up with an invoicing tool also. Yes, so for those freelancers na merong kailangan magpadala ng invoice sa mga clients nila both here and internationally, you can use our invoicing functionality later on, no? Ang kagandahan nito, it can be attached. For example, may pumasok na pera. If you don't want to encode it na, convert it na to, parang ano siya, automatic na papasok na siya to your declaration if you want. If
Wow.
kunwari gift naman siya or ano, pwede naman hindi siya ilagay as a declaration for your taxes kung parang it's from a relative abroad or whatever, to help you with your business. Yan, so parang gift lang siya, pwedeng ganun, no? So, yan, so ano na siya, end-to-end process na talaga from collections. Maganda rin dito, we will send out like automatic reminders, no? For your clients na hindi pa kayo bayad. So we'll also track your receivables for you.
Wow,
So
okay.
for those people na parang magkano nga ba yung receivables? Kanino nga pala ako maniningil? Nakalimutan na nila kung sino yung may utang pa sa kanila, di ba? So we will also track that. So yeah, so end-to-end na yung process.
So that's
Sobrang
very
Sige, Ronan, go.
So that's yun nga, I was actually just going to agree with you, Cap. That's actually a very valuable tool for someone who's doing freelancing, especially kung sole prop ka. Kasi chances are, kung grupo kayo ng GDGA creatives, hindi naman kayo magpapasok ng someone who's going to keep track of that. And one of the most confusing things is actually having to, alam nyo yun, sa paniningil. Kasi number one, kailangan mo ng skill maningil. And number two, kailangan alam mo kung paano. And again, another unknown benefit of this, of course, is kung hirap kang maningil sa kliyente mo, chances are kasi, ang tingin din nila sa'yo, ay, kaya kong brasuhin to. Hindi. Kaya kong, totoo yun. So again, with the help of Taxumo, with the help of the Philippine government, you can actually make your work and your skills work for you.
Yes.
Kanyang ano. So I think it's already 8:17, Cap. For time natin, I know we promised Ginger isang oras lang natin.
Thank you, Ginger.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm having fun naman, like helping and answering questions.
So maraming matanong talaga kaming mga tao dito. So I guess for a wrap up, what are some tips that for freelancers to stay organized and make tax filing easier throughout the year? Let's say nag-ano na ako, decide na ako BIR registered na ako. And more importantly, does Taxumo offer any services specifically tailored for freelancers?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, when we created Taxumo, it was actually for my events management business before, which is Manila Workshops. So it really helped me, and it was designed talaga for people na walang accounting background, people who are like solely working in their business. So yung mga startups na ikaw lang talaga, wala kang team. So yun, it was designed to even cater to that. No? So sila yung primary audience talaga ng Taxumo. So I think yung tips ko lang is, really, one is, general tips na lang to, Ronan and Cap. No? So it's the mindset. It's really the mindset. Start with that. Parang, don't be too fixated on magkano ba yung babayaran ko for this, but rather like what will you gain if you outsource this or if you use this tool, no? Or if you automate some of the processes that you have as an individual. Especially freelancer ka, time is very valuable for you, diba? Because that's the time that you spend creating things for your client, diba? Talking to your client, building relationships with them. Now, if you also do these nitty-gritty things na parang isa-isahin mo pa yan, magko-coordinate ka pa sa maraming tao, sa account mo, di ba? Okay lang naman may accountant, pero again, you need a tool to navigate through, like communicating with them, being transparent with what's been filed, di ba? So you can use Taxumo talaga for tax filing, for your tax filing process to make it more efficient. And not even that, even when you take a step back, it's really for managing your finances. As Cap mentioned, I understand you're coming from Cap na parang, paano ba ako maging organized? Kasi I'm thinking of like creating all of these things to grow my business. Ang daming ideas to expand it. I need to hire people, look for virtual assistants, etc. No? And then you have taxes. No? So one thing is really like, maybe build that habit of just tracking. Yun muna, tracking your revenues and expenses. Designate a time for you to do so. even end of the month is fine because quarterly naman yung tax filing sa Pilipinas. Ako, personally, and I do, well, if this works for you, then fine. But I personally put all of my receipts in an envelope. And then come after a month, January, end of January, I encode. End of February, I encode. End of March, I encode. By then, alam ko na kung magkano yung tax dues ko. What I even do to maximize it is that, since alam ko, let's say, January, 5,000 yung tax dues ko, nilalagay ko siya sa isang higher yielding bank account. So it earns, hindi ko siya nagagalaw, and it helps me avoid spending it. Kasi alam ko pang tax siya. I do it again for February, tatabi ko ulit yung 5,000, may 10,000 na ako. Hindi yung process na, ay, code ko by March, tapos ay 15,000, teka, saan ako kukuha ng pera? Diba? So, it's all of these things are habits that you form also. No? If you're running a business, it's good to have systems like this, processes like this. Kasi at the end of the day, if you have a team later on, you can also sort of like share this process with them, and this is what you do. Parang ganon. So you work on that system already. No? You build that system. That's number 2. And number 3, start now. That's what I can say. No? Start now. I also, aside from like, kailan ko ba mag-pay ng taxes? Another question that we get, kailan ako magsisimula? What amount? What income? Diba? Parang I'm sure nakuha niya yan. Kailan ako magbabayad ng taxes? 8,000, 10,000 income? Or, diba? For me, start now. Kahit na once you get into like something that you want to earn from, I suggest like you register already so that you take into consideration taxes sa pricing mo. Minsan, ginagamit siya as an accountability partner. Naka-register na ako eh. So, wala na akong choice. Palakihin ko na to. Alam mo yun? Like, let's put everything into it already. And, ano naman eh, at the end of the day, if it's something that you really love doing, and if it's something that you want, and you really want your business to grow, you'll make everything kumbaga parang you'll do everything for that business. No? So, ganun dapat yung mindset, no? When you start this already as something that you want to earn from. Yan. So, 3 things.
Yeah. Thank you. Gandang advice. Sobrang gandang advice. Na-realize ko, Ginger, parang hindi lang for tax yung pwedeng itanong sa'yo. Parang pwede ka rin yatang ma-invite for personal finance.
Money management. Magaling tayo dyan.
Ayun.
Kasi sabi ko nga sa inyo, sa mahilig mga gamers dito or magaling gusto lang maglaro, no? All of these things happening, it's a game. Like, how do you navigate through this game? Ano yung mga tools mo? Ano mga weapons mo to use? Diba? It's for me, that's how I view it. No? So maybe it's a fresh perspective also for some people. Like, how you look at business, how you even look at your life. No, it's like, diba? Have fun. Playing a game is fun. So you have to have fun. But you have to optimize certain things, make things more efficient so that you spend time in the correct things so that you win the game, diba? Yeah.
It's basically min-maxing your life.
Yes. Yes, that's how I do it.
But yeah, it works. If it works, right? If it works. And one of the ways, again, guys, for everyone who's watching, one of the best ways for you to min-max your life is, of course, to know how to speak to the right people and understand enough to speak the lingo and understand the process. So let Taxumo be there for you to help you out with your own finance team later on. Matuto kang learn to speak the language. You don't have to be the expert. Madalas ko sabihin yan sa Degas, you don't have to be the expert in everything. But you have to be able to understand how the other experts approach this. Para maintindihan mo rin, hindi ka pwedeng basta-bastang like, one of the biggest pitfalls, I guess, is pag lumaki na ako, I'll hire a finance person and I'll have them handle all of my money matters. Bahala na si Batman. Ilang kumpanya na ang bumagsak because of that.
Yeah. May mga telenovela nga na yun yung premise eh. Diba? I mean, kung hindi talaga nangyayari in real life yun, diba?
That's true, right?
Hindi,
Dating
totoo,
mayaman
diba?
ang papa. Ngunit dinispal ko ng mga pinagkatiwalaan niya. Kaya
Oo,
heto tayo.
diba? Hanggang nag-storyline eh, no? Diba?
It
Diba?
happens more often than you guys think, right? So,
Yes, yes.
so one of the biggest things, Cap, this actually is a question I have for you ngayon. So we have Ginger, and she's been so fun to talk to. We've been talking about taxes and Taxumo, ano? And ano pang makukuha na, let's say, Artphorce aligned na ako ngayon, Artphorce registered na ako. Meron ba tayong nilulutong something between Artphorce and Taxumo?
Wait lang, lutuin ko lang ah.
Ay,
Ayan na.
Wow!
Ang bilis.
Ang galing. Ang bilis ah. Mas mabilis ka sa pag-iisip ng adobo.
Ayan.
Yeah.
So ito,
yeah. Go ahead,
Yes,
Cap.
go. Then, we have a partnership with Taxumo. So, you'll get 10% off on your subscription plan. You just need to scan the QR code or type the type the link or the URL. I'll share it then here sa
Yes.
comments.
Yan. Pero kung ako sa inyo, mag 2-year plan na kayo. Kasi bukod sa mas affordable ang 2-year plan talaga. Bili mo, like for example, compute natin. Sorry. Kailangan ko ng calculator. 399 times 24, 9,576 pesos for 2 years. Ang
wait,
plan
that's
na
for
natin.
2 years?
That's for 2 years. Kaya kung ako sa inyo, mag 2-year plan na lang kayo, diba?
Ronan?
That's basically 60% off. That's basically 60% off na slash from the usual na presyo ng
diba? Tapos,
years.
diba? Like, parang when you compare it to other alternatives, it's really affordable. Minus 10% pa yun sa sinabi ko, ah. Wala pa yung Ronan, wala pa yung discount, yung 9,576. Minus 957 pa. Kayo na mag-compute.
8,000 pesos. Hindi, sa mga nagtataka, hindi nyo actually mararamdaman yan in a span of 2 years.
Yes.
Kasi 8,000 divided by 24 is, mahina ako sa math.
Sorry, 9,576 yung sabi ko kanina, di ba? Minus 957.60. So that's around 8,618.40 divided by 24, 359 na lang yan per month.
Mura.
Really?
Di ba? So hindi mo na mararamdaman. You pay upfront and then you focus already on encoding and all of these things, tracking your revenue and expenses. Kaya to tell you honestly, most of our users are actually under the 2-year plan for freelancers. Yeah. Because, I mean, what's that? Diba? One project, that's it. Tapos, huwag mo kalimutan mo na, as in, mag-encode ka na and all of those things. You don't have to worry about it. Diba? Yun. So, scan nyo na yan for your discount. Your 10% discount. Diba?
Parang akong bukan ng bookkeeping services, pero So, basically, ito yung gusto nyo ating mangyari. Yung kakausap na lang ako ng kilala ko para i-maintain yung books ko. Pero usually, pag kakilala kaibigan mo, bibigyan mo pa ng pamerienda yan. Yun yung pamerienda 300.
Tapos for those then, singit ko na rin to, for those who are using accountants, okay lang, you can use accountants because your plan comes with a delegate access. So you can delegate access to your accountant. Kasi sa totoo lang, there are some people pa rin na, okay, gusto ko gamitin to, pero I want to see what's happening. I want my accountant to do it. We have people in the platform who do that also. Or sometimes, ito naman, ayokong mag-encode, tamad ako. So they get like a family member, a niece, a nephew, summer job, summer na, malapit na mag-summer, May. Ikaw mag-encode, diba? Nephew, niece, daughter, son, diba? So, ikaw mag-encode for me, I will check kung tama. You focus on your business, diba? So it really is very flexible when it comes to like, what is your own process, diba, for yourself? How do you optimize your time? But it's really helpful because transparency, no, especially for those na may accountants also, diba? Hindi kayo pa-email nga and then mawawala yung document. Alam mo yun, all of those. all of the documents are in Taxumo already. Magpa-file ka, nandun. Confirmation, nandun. Attachments, nandun. Diba? So it's not back and forth na padala sa akin, pa-email sa akin. Even your accountants will find it easier. Kasi hindi mo na sila kukulitin, di ba? Nandun na, ma'am, di ba? Nandun na sa Taxumo. Or sir, di ba? Nandun na. Yan. There.
So hindi na kayo mag-aaway ng accountant mo sa version.
Diba? Oo. File mo ba? Parang check mo na lang yung Taxumo. Diba? Or, nakita ko 5,000. January pa lang nakita. 5,000, paki-check. Okay, ma'am, check ko. 5,000. Titingnan ko kung ano pwede ba, diba? Kung tama ba yung entries mo. Ganun na lang yung usapan. Hindi na siya yung, ito po yung Excel sheet. Tapos, kukompute ni accountant. Bibigay sa'yo yung form. Paki-check, tapos hindi mo naman naintindihan, titignan mo lang yung total, di ba? Magkano yung babayaran. So, parang, bakit ganito? Tapos bibigay mo ulit sa kanya. So, wala nang ganun kasi nakikita niyo na both sa Taxumo. Yun.
Very, very valuable. If anything, at least hindi ka sasakalin ng CPA.
Pareho kayong masaya. Yeah.
Pareho kayong getting war flashbacks. Medyo tinamaan na. Hindi ako nakaiwas sa pinagsasabi ni yun.
Yeah. So work together. Diba? Win-win. Yes.
So,
And I just showed yung kung paano mag-file nga. Pero it's really simple, as you can see.
Super simple. And maganda pa dito, Cap. Meron kami free onboarding sessions every Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So if hindi nyo ma-figure out like how to do it for some reason, don't worry, because you can attend an intro to Taxumo or tutorial session every Tuesdays or Wednesdays, Tuesdays or Wednesdays. We have a link in our site. Just go to Taxumo. You can attend and attend. If parang, nakalimutan ko ano nga ba gagawin ko dito, attend again, ganon, and attend. It's free. No, wala kang babayaran. It's about us teaching you how to use the platform.
Anong oras usually yun, Ginger?
Sorry, I may be mistaken, but it's around 2 or 3 p.m.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sige. We'll check na lang din sa sa website.
Yes.
Yeah. So, wow.
Yes, there.
It's really that's really the only thing that I can say about this service actually. So wow.
Thank you so much.
So it's one of the friendliest bookkeeping services na nakita ko. The most friendly so far. Ito yung dreaded na kung akong gagawa.
Yeah.
Sinong pagagawain ko.
Yeah. Yun, so thank you. Yeah.
Got the opportunity, guys.
Thank you very much, Ginger.
Thank you
very much, Ginger.
Yes, thank
So,
you. I hope our viewers learned naman a little something, kahit na not related to tax or even to how to sort of like how they manage their finances, their business finances. I hope you learned.
Yeah, kami pa lang ni Ronan, we really learned a lot and we enjoyed talking to you. Sana we can invite you again maybe sa event or dito rin sa namin sa Artphorce Live na about naman money management maybe. Next time.
Sure. Lots of things to discuss then, Don. All right. Thank you, Aisa. Yeah. All right.
Ayun, so thank you. We'll see you again on our next episode next month.
All right.
Bye.
Bye,
everyone.
Thank you, Artphorce. Thank you, Ronan, Cap.
Thank you, Ginger. Thank you, Cap.
Thank you.
Bakit mas madali if you get the 8% flat income tax rate for new professionals at sole proprietors? The most recent option na pwedeng makatulong for new professionals or business who are still getting the hang of monitoring yung pagpasok at labas ng pera is the 8% flat income tax rate. The reason is that this rate gives straightforward predictability of tax due at di mo na kailangan isama sa pag-justify ang expenses, lalo na kung wala kang resibo to document those expenses. For those earning solely from racket or business na below 3 million pa ang sales, your tax due is 8% of your sales after the 250,000 tax exemption. Sa mga empleyado naman na may racket o negosyo on the side, yung 250,000 tax exemption is applied sa employment compensation mo. So your sales from your profession or business is multiplied by the 8% for the tax due rate. Tandaan, lamang ang mautaks.
Registered na negosyo mo, pero ang dami pa din gagawin. Tara, simplihan lang natin ang pagproseso sa tax filing mo. Kasing dali lang ito ng pag-ayos ng cabinet mo. Ito si Taxumo, ang digital tax assistant mo. Una, mag-sign up at ilagay ang mga detalye ng iyong negosyo galing sa certificate of registration mo. Kasing dali lang yun ng pagsuot ng t-shirt, iset up ang account settings para madali na lang ang tax filing as a freelancer. Panatilihin nakabukas ang notifications para updated ka. Sunod, encode ang iyong kita at gastos. Di ka na magugulat sa tax na kailangan mong bayaran dahil real-time na ang tax calculation ni Taxumo. Isang click na lang, pag nag-file ng taxes, madaming payment options na pwede pagpilian para mabayaran ang iyong taxes. Tapos na! Spend time growing your business, not filing taxes. Taxumo is here for the successful you. Tandaan, lamang ang mautaks.